always think that around the age of about 12 or 13, you should have an epiphany. And at that moment, you should know exactly what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to go and who you're supposed to marry and how many children you're supposed to have. And just know exactly what it's supposed to be like. And then you just do that, right? It's funny how it never happens. You just never get an inkling from anybody about how your life is supposed to turn out or what you're supposed to do. So then how do you know what you're supposed to do? Which part of your life is destiny? And which part of your life is your own free will? And who decides this destiny? And who decides how you're going to walk and where you're going to go? My master always says that it's much better to consider the past as your karma, as your destiny, and the future as free will. Because every moment you have choices to make. Shall I make potatoes for dinner or a salad? Something as simple as that. Or shall I stay home with my children and cook for them, or go to India and be with my mother who needs me? Choices every time. Each choice that you make comes with its own set of rules, its own set of emotions, its own little baggage. There is not a single choice that you make in life that has no baggage. You pick to stay with your children, then you have to just cook for them every single day. You ready for that? And go shopping with them and be okay with the house being a mess and all of that. You pick to go and stay with your mom, then you got to be ready for having one part of you at home, checking to see if everything's okay or not okay. We'd have lost the capacity to be present fully. To be present fully is to make a choice and have only that choice moving forward. Right? None of the other stuff that goes with it, the guilt, the fear, the frustration, the anxiety, the tension, that we don't need, but that is a necessary part of our package because of our mental conditioning, like the way we've been brought up. For years, that's how it's been. We've never been able to take a choice, to make a decision, and just go with that and forget about what you left behind. You switch your career. You've been for years a nurse, and you suddenly decide to start painting doors. Well, for the first year, you're not making much money. And you are plagued and tortured that you left a lucrative career with all its healthcare benefits and all of that. And instead, you're painting doors. Right? Life is filled with difficult choices and we never know what it is that we have to do. Ultimately, however much you believe that it's your choice, however much you believe that you're in control of your life, it is all actually destiny. It's all what you were supposed to do, because everything is just a series of happenings. A series of happenings. Nobody starts off thinking, I want to get divorced. Nobody starts off that way. You start off thinking this is the perfect person in my life and I want it all to work. Nobody starts off thinking that I want to be a Walmart clerk. Things happen in life that are there for you to grow. They're thrown at you so that you learn something from it and lift yourself up a little bit more. Ultimately, all of life is about knowledge. Everything is about knowledge. And not knowledge about the world you live in, but knowledge about yourself. This point, if you understand that I have come into this world to learn about myself, that this requires self-effort, and through self-effort, my destiny will be revealed to me. Then things become much easier. Then the choices that you make, should I take this course, should I take that course, should I take this class, should I take that, is this career better, I have 2 jobs waiting, which one should I pick, this one or the other? I mean, how many times in a day, in a month, in a year, in a life, do we get these choices, these crossroads? We don't know which one to pick. We don't know which one is right for us. And it's always good to step back in. Those that have the gift of meditation have a sense of what it is to touch your source, to sense that feeling of peace, to know what feels right and what feels not so good. And that's how you make the best decisions. You go with that gut feeling, saying that this is going to be a difficult one, but I think this is it for me. This is it for me. I could be 4 years on the path, 10 years on the path before I see money, but it feels right. It feels okay for me. And then you take the plunge. Once you take the plunge, have faith, have courage, and have gratitude, because these are the 3 things you need at any point in your life. Destiny is not about fame and money and success. Destiny is all about discovering why you're here. That is your destiny. Each person has taken a birth to discover, to learn something about, so that they can grow. So some are born with that disabled child to learn tolerance and patience. Wonder, don't you, sometimes, why are these children even born? What is the purpose that these children are put on the earth and these parents have to look after them? You look at the poverty-stricken countries and you look at the way people live in those slums and the hovels, and you say, how do they live like this? What could they possibly be learning? What is the purpose of that? And then you think, there's this man who's got tremendous wealth. He's got everything he wants. And one fine day he commits suicide. And you wonder, he has everything. Anyone would just die to be in his shoes. Beautiful home, he's got a fabulous career, he's such a famous person, he's making so many people, he's a comedian or whatever he is, he's making people laugh, or he's making, he's an entertainer. What could possibly make him want to end it all? What kind of a twisted destiny is this? So whether we are rich or we are poor, whether we are born into the best circumstances or the worst, our destiny is for us to learn. Our life is for us to learn. Every day we have to learn. And most of us will go through our entire life from birth to death just working and then coming home and going to sleep and never figure out why we were here in the first place. Never understand that. Never stop pushing to get higher and bigger and better and settling into that softer side of your nature, that compassionate side of your nature that allows you to share your love. Because honestly, that's what it's about. You know, all those last words you had in those arguments when you put the other person down really well. I somehow never can do that. I always remember the good thing to say 15 minutes later or next day or 2 days later. At that time, I just get tears in my eyes. Or I get really, really upset. I never can get that really smart answer, that smart thing to say that puts them in their place, But that's not it. Those bosses that control and put you down and humiliate you at the workplace, it's their own inferiority that makes them do that to you. You have to discover your compassion, your silence, your center. And you have to discover what it is you're here for and push through, however difficult that path is. You have to show that fortitude. And I always say that there are always choices. If it gets too difficult, pick another path. Go down another street. It's all going to lead you to your destiny as long as you're learning. As long as you're learning, as long as you're growing. If it's all getting too much for you on this path, you pick another one. And it's okay to do that. But not at the beginning of your journey, when it gets too much. You have to go down a journey and you've got to try it out to the best of your ability. 100% of effort. And when you still, with all that effort, feel that this is not going to take me to where I'm reaching, then you switch. All your jobs, your relationships, everything has been designed by an invisible force to teach you your lessons. Destiny determines who you'll meet, who will change your fortune, who is going to make that difference in your life. Destiny opens up opportunities when the time is right. That's what destiny controls. Nothing happens before its time. The fact that you are not reaching your potential is because you've not developed within you those skills. Once those skills are there, the path will open up. It's not going to happen.
I'm sorry, what do you feel like you felt like you should have done something, but you didn't do something because you were afraid to do something, but it's too late to do that something? And are you feeling of guilt now?
That's another part of destiny. What's over is over. It's gone. It's gone. If anything, the past teaches you a lesson. That's about it. That you shouldn't have done this in another way. Or you should have done this, if you had to repeat, the same circumstance, you would have done it the same way. Two things you can learn from any situation. that I could change my response or the way I behaved, or I could stay with the same thing and the result would be the same.
I think she's asking
Right.
about the feeling of guilt.
Don't ever, one thing you have to learn from the East, which is part of the law of karma, is that what's over, It's over. it's gone. It's gone. You only have now. This is all you have. Now what you're going to do? Now what you're going to do? If you keep thinking about things that did not manifest in your life or did not work out in your life, those are the messages you're sending out into the universe. You know, I have this situation that I should have done this differently. I should have done this differently. I should have done this differently. You will always be faced with situations where that same thought manifests. I should have done this differently. But that's not what you want. You want to move forward. You want to switch what is negative into positive. The past is filled with regret, with guilt, with fear. The future is filled with hope and enthusiasm and motivation. The past is a waste. All you need to take from the past is a tiny little lesson. My master will always say, you don't have a large rear view mirror in your car, right? That covers the entire windscreen. You have a big open windscreen you can see completely, and a little rear view mirror, and you glance at it from time to time. It's a beautiful analogy. It's a beautiful analogy. You look at your past momentarily and say, I should have done that. That's it, gone. You take whatever. Next time, if I'm faced with the same situation, I'm going to do it differently. Or I'm going to do it the same way because I think I'm right. You have a choice, right? But feeling guilt and feeling regret is such a waste of energy. Let it go. Let it go. That was your destiny. This is your free will. You build your own destiny based on your choices. Even when you are shown glimpses of your life in, like in between, when you're picking the life to come on this earth, they show you flashes. But you can switch your destiny based on your choices. And those flashes change. Your destiny opens up differently. Nothing is lost because you're here now. What happened in the past? How much of the past do you remember? Do you remember it like a movie going on? Maybe you remember what happened this morning. Do you even remember what you ate for dinner last night? What do you remember? What is your earliest memory? What is your earliest? It's just a little image, a flash, like a photograph, one little flash. And it's not even correct. Images get mixed up with memories, get mixed up with movies you've seen, get mixed up with all kinds of things. And it's a mishmash. It's not reliable. Some say that even the knowledge you have is not reliable because it's a memory. Whatever knowledge you acquire is still a memory, and memories are not reliable. The only thing that's reliable is this moment. What's happening right now. The minute you're resting on what you learned in the past, it's a memory, and memories are not reliable. Just move on. Move ahead. And if you move ahead thinking, I have happiness, I have abundance, I have wealth, I am comfortable, I am grateful, I am courageous, I have faith, all these positive qualities, if you contain in this moment, then the future opens up for you. If you hold on to regret and to things that didn't work for you, and to memories, and to the negative side of your nature, and the things that you could have possibly done differently, you're thinking that, oh my God, in English. Now, what is the point of doing that? You're 53 years old now. Which college are you going to go to and change everything, you know? It doesn't help at all. And the minute you recognize that it's all a waste of your time, I think you've grown in that moment. Getting into the moment, living in the now is a very difficult thing. You have to keep reminding yourself of little analogies, like the one I gave you about the car. Small things like that will become good impressions in your head that you can recall. You know. And my master always says, a job is just so you can live. You need enough. Do not aspire for wealth. Ask for enough. And the rest of your time, not from 9 to 5, but from 5 to 9, is your life. And that's when you've got to do things that you really enjoy doing. It is so that you work so that you can do this. A very tiny percentage of people get the job that's their passion. Very blessed. They've discovered their destiny early in life. They got that message that I keep talking about. I always wished that I got this message that told me exactly what I had to do. It would be so nice. That's one wish that I have. And I wish to know where I was before. I want to know about my past lives. Okay, both are not going to be met. So, what am I to do? I know one thing, the past is gone. I know that the God, the divine consciousness will bring me in touch with people that will open my destiny. I'm not going to be able to do this alone, whatever I have to do. I need people. We all do. We all need people. We need people in our lives to help us through, to hold our hand, to move us ahead, to show us different ways of doing things. And destiny provides that for us. And it never happens till we have the right skills. We have the right amount of money. You want to get your daughter married at the age of 21, but you haven't worked for 5 years. You don't have any money in the bank. Surprisingly, when you have enough money in the bank, your daughter or your son finds someone. And you have enough money to celebrate the wedding. So that's just a small example. But for anything, you need the skills. When you have the skills, when you have the mental composure, when you have that feeling that I can deal with it, then it comes to you. Not a day before. Now, and when it happens just so quickly, and before you know it, you're already on another path. You're already doing things. Things are happening that you tried so hard to do, but you were not ready. The time was not right. If you know these things, that if you wait for the right opportunity and develop yourself, use your life to learn, to make life changes, everything is going to work out exactly the way you want it. And the last thing about your destiny that you must have is acceptance. We are not all Mother Teresas. We are not all Malalas. We are not all Obamas. We are not all Kim Kardashians. We are who we are, right? The acceptance of our life and our life situation is very, very, very crucial. You want something that's totally out of your scope. I'm not saying it's not going to come, because there are people that have wanted something so badly that the divine consciousness has provided it. It just depends on how persistent you are with following whatever goals you want to follow. But in the meantime, while that works out, You have to accept your situation. This life is yours. This moment is all that counts. It is pure potential. Your destiny will reveal itself in good time. Don't be preoccupied with your destiny. Live in the moment, knowing that happiness is your birthright and abundance is your birthright. And have that feeling of strength in faith, courage, and gratitude. And life can be effortless.